We are on, boys.
Oh, we are
Let's go,
Oh, let's go.
baby.
Good to be here.
another week, boys. Welcome back.
We are
Little
back.
holiday.
Little hiatus, creative hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah, went away for a week. Went to my lounge room. Played a bit of Xbox.
Yeah. Your team, boys.
I just sat here in the recording studio for an hour and just thought, just gathered my thoughts for the week.
For the upcoming episodes that we have.
Yeah.
Just
And my God, what an announcement we have.
quick shout out to lockdown first, I think.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to lockdown. And what's that announcement?
What do you got?
Socky, we've got a test cricketer joining in.
Yeah, boys.
Probably
Let's
the
go.
biggest scalp so far, I dare say.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a little story for him as well before he jumps on. So this year was, last year was the first time I actually got to play against him, and I didn't get to bowl to him, and he didn't get to bowl to me. But it was a bit of a wet day, so on and off with covers. And he's just that type of bloke where he was just blowing up at people for not doing the covers. A lot of the good guys sitting back, just letting it rain, and but then he proceeded to make the younger bloke in the team do it for him. So it's just quality stuff from him.
Just go, mate, I played test cricket. I don't do this.
I might actually ask him that question. That'd be funny as to see his reaction.
Yeah, it was quite good. It was such a good day. Big blow ups.
Yeah. But no, that's good. Great news. Great news for the podcast.
Massive scalp.
Yeah,
Stephen O'Keefe.
Huge.
But yeah, shout out to Lockdown.
Lockdown clothing.
Yeah, shout out to anyone else, boys.
You should shout out Rear Naked Soap.
I am actually. I'm gonna shout out soap because
got the care package.
Got my care pack, and she threw in 2 new soaps that she's trying out. So got them for free. Happy days.
Lovely.
I got 2 shout outs. One to all the dads and the single mums and all the dads to be, the dads that were. Happy Father's Day for last Sunday.
Hey,
Lovely.
And also a huge shout out to friend of the show, the Blonde Bomber, with another dub.
Oof.
Got another win, just punched heads in again.
A lot of discrimination as well for her fight there, and we were basically just sitting back saying, "Fuck shit, she fucking won."
Yeah, she punched her head in.
Oh.
So yeah, good on you, Ebbs. Good on you. I do believe she's returning home as well. So
doing it too easy over there.
Spent a lot. I think 8 months or something, 9 months over there. So yeah, good to have her back.
Yeah, get her home.
Yeah, 100%.
Long Fog boys.
This is a forced one, but James Claxton won.
This has been on the show.
He won the quaddie.
Yeah.
Somewhere, and it won him 1,500. So
another quaddie.
Good on him.
Good. Fuck, he's good. I'll tell you that.
You should have heard the reaction.
Oh, sickening.
Should have heard him.
The whole Zoom session on Saturday was just cringy.
Yeah.
Cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was just clacks. Being clacks.
Shall we move into something new? What do we got next on the agenda tonight, Long?
Who's the top dog?
Top dog. Who's top dog?
Welcome back to the winning column, Chromie. Welcome back, mate.
Just another one. Just put another victory there.
Just get him. Just add it. Keep adding it on. Fucking me, Dan.
Yeah,
just tallying up.
Quite sickening. Really.
It is, ain't it? But
we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
The people have similar opinions. I like that.
That's true. I like it. Big dick energy, really, Chromie.
complete opposite to what the point of the show is, but not so rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh dear. Now, have you boys got anything different, or let's say rare and random to discuss today?
I've got one thing. So apparently, I've read this morning. Apparently, there's a shortage, or the numbers of females moving into medicine have dropped. So
Yeah, right.
Barbie have launched a scientist or doctor model to inspire young females into the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Do you know this because of your daughter?
No, I don't know. I'll probably come up with some fucking page I was following, but yeah.
Longy?
So there was a discussion, right? It was, when do you brush your teeth? Before breakfast or after breakfast? And
Yeah.
people were like, after breakfast is the usual answer. But then it's scientifically proven to do it before breakfast, apparently.
I'll get up at 4 a.m.
When I was playing cricket in England, I met this bird on the old tip.
Never brush your teeth.
She was a dentist, and she was saying that, like, I was brushing my teeth after dinner, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm brushing my teeth." And she's like, "You're supposed to do it before food." I was like, "What? Like, won't that taste like shit?" And she's like, "No, that's how you're supposed to do it." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm been and new." But yeah, it's very very rare discussion, that one.
Oh, I thought you just do it when I leave. I get up, brush my teeth, go to work, and then have a shower at night and do it then as well.
Have the old trading sandbag, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking brush my teeth before every meal. Eat a dick.
Yeah.
Fucking have everything tasting like toothpaste. Damn it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move straight into our intro to our guest because he's joined us live.
Mm.
So
Welcome.
introducing our guest today is known by umpires as the biggest pest in grade cricket. Has the record for the slowest partnership for any wicket in Test history, with scoring the only 4 runs out of 174 balls. The second worst hamstring next to fellow Manly boy Tom Turbo, but is known for his incredible spin bowling career and circuiting career. Please welcome Stephen Norman John O'Keefe.
That's a great intro. I'm surprised you had to read that off a piece of paper, mate. I thought since being family that might come a bit more natural to you. That's all right. Yeah, that's good. It's a nice start, mate. I agree with most things on there, to be honest.
Oh, welcome, mate. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, there's honestly, I wouldn't usually even bother with Quincy, but since there's nothing to do in a lockdown, I thought, well, stuff it. I may as well have a chat to him. This is the first time we've spoken in 4 years, so may as well do it on a podcast.
You beauty.
You can't press the red button on the camera.
Yeah, we're live, aren't we? Yeah.
That's why I never told him that I had his table and chairs.
Yeah, that's right. I did. I had a Quincy's father is cleans carpets for a living, so I'd get Quincy around to help with that. And I had an old table and chairs, which have you offloaded that yet? Have you sold? Have you made a bit of that? You kept it.
Jacinta's little morning breakfast spot.
Oh, beauty! All right. Well, yeah, that was $250 a chairs and $1,000 for the table. But I'll do your deal if you want. I'll do it for $500, mate. We'll open a sports bet account and have a bet with mates. We'll see 10 grand.
Love it. All right, boys. Should we start with top 5 cricketers?
Yeah, let's rip into it.
Yeah.
So our top 5 this week is going to be cricketers, I guess cricketers of your era, basically. So
right, okay. Well, hang on, but you told me before that the top 5 were the players of all. Let's see, because Quincy does his homework and he reworded me up and he said You get to do your top 5 players of all time.
All time.
And then he said, you get to do your best 11 in your era. Was how you worded it to me.
All right, I'll let you have it.
We got a new host. Sock's a new host.
Well, the issue with the host that you got is you can't remember what he said on the to reword up his lines that are coming on. So this
Oreo's 80's homework.
Sorry, boys. Had the jab this week. Me off.
Had the jab, did you?
Oh, good on you, mate. What about getting a vaccine treatment? What about that? Did you get that as well this week?
That's good to have you, mate. Very good to have you.
I can actually see in your glasses there. Is that Pornhub in the? I can see the reflection in your glasses, mate. I can see one of the browsers in the back. That's.
I was actually
someone getting jabbed in the background. Is there?
That's not the Juggernaut, is it?
I can't.
Deary me. All right, I've got 5 all time, or I can give you 5 of it.
We'll go 5 all time.
No, I've gone 5 all time too.
Your favourite players, anyway. So give us.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, it pains me to say that Quincy, you're not in there, which is a shame. You know, you were close. You're in the mix, mate. You're turning the bend, and you're in the pack, but you must have broke a hock and finished out the back somewhere. So just missed out. I thought I'd break that to you first.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Brian Charles Lara at number 1 of all-time players. Led a West Indies team when they battled. You know, they had the big quicks. When he was first coming into the side, he had all the big quicks. Curtly Ambrose, Joel Garner, Malcolm Holding. All these guys that came through, and they were the dominant side in world cricket. And then he came into the team, and it seemed to fall away. But he was like the best batter that you'd have in a losing team. Always, he'd carry the team. So, and the way that he played was amazing. Like, there's no other guy in the world that played Shane Warne any better. I don't think. I reckon Warne's numbers against Brian Charles Lara would be the worst against any top 5 or 6 batters. And every time there seemed to be a bigger contest, you'd just take him down. So, BCL at number 1, and he's cool, which adds extra points.
Yeah.
So Garfield Sobers, have you heard of him? Has anyone heard of Sir Garfield Sobers? Yeah. Probably not interested to most modern day cricketers because most of them don't give a shit about history. They just care about getting paid and being on the TV and Instagram followers. But he's probably the greatest ever all-rounder to play. Bowled left arm fast, left arm spin, and could bat a bit as well. So he's at 2. Don Bradman goes in at 3 just because you have to. Bloke nearly averages 100. Goes without saying. Sharks Callis at 4. Probably the best, behind Garfield Sobers, the best modern day all-rounder. Does anyone...
He's the best cricketer of all time. He's my number 1.
Yep. Yeah, well, he's...
A million runs, a million wickets, and a million catches.
Amazing. And he, not only that, most modern day all-rounders would hide themselves down at 6. He would just punch out 20
at
overs.
3.
He'd come out at 3. It's unbelievable.
More often, sometimes he's facing the new ball before the other bloke that opened.
Yeah.
He's doing it just as tough.
Yeah, he'd come out after a long day in the field, so they bowled him out in 80 overs. He'd have to come out and face the last 10 overs, and you'd be cooked because he'd bowl 15 overs, take 3 for sit a first slip, concentrate the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And his numbers are unbelievable. I think he finished up at averaging over 50 in South Africa, which is hard because the ball's swooping around corners.
Done.
Yeah, these 4. Last one, Warnie, King. I think if you're talking about the rare units of all time, he wins hands down in the rare department. Was able to be the leading wicket taker for Australia, second all time, and do it.
Greatest lifestyle choices of all time too.
Yeah, managing records on and off the field, he's top 5 of all time. So,
and he's potted this early.
I do remember I had a game. When I was a youngster, we got to field as a 12th man for the Australian team, and we got the opportunity to go in. You basically just go in and shine the shoes of the Aussie guys. But I got to go in one day and beat the 12th man, and you didn't get to field, but you ran drinks, and I was 18 at the time. And his picture was on the front page of the paper for some scandal or affair or something like that. And the way, he'd be sort of in there, he'd find a spot in the change rooms to dart up, he'd have a cigarette, flick the paper aside and just push it all aside, and then go out, and they're playing South Africa and just bowl the team to victory. And I was like, it was amazing how he could handle that pressure of the media just prying into his
everything.
Yeah, and then but still go out and just like dominate. For most people, they'd find that quite hard, but he just seemed to manage off the field and on the field, separate them and perform at an elite level is phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you had a bench player, who would you go for your number 6?
Number 6. Oh, geez. Well, I've got a list here all time. Well, the guy that was the 12th man in my 11 is Phil Hughes. Now, he probably doesn't have the best numbers of all time of a test player or one-day player, but I'm thinking about a player at the same age. He was 25. He had 26 first-class centuries in Australia and around the country. If he was still living now, would he still be opening the batting? I think he would be the linchpin in the Australian team that would tip us from being sort of mediocre where we are now to being a great team. Could play spin well. Debuted in South Africa and spanked them all over the park. So, he would only get better. So he would be he's my 5th with a bit of unknown about him. If he'd been able to play for another 10 years, I think he could have been one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
Just his hands, His hands are crazy.
But it's a funny you say that, because he would talk about, like, I remember batting with him. I can barely spell bat, let alone bat, but he would always say, trust your hands, because he'd have that massive back lift.
Yeah.
Where his hands would come back here. And doesn't matter how fast the bowling was, he'd always trusted his hands would come down on the ball. So, he was always just thinking about, like, head still, watch the ball, and trust your hands.
Yeah.
He would say a massive mental player as well. I know I played a year with his brother at West, and he showed me his diary, and just so many awesome mental notes in there just on how he wanted to go about the game and what he wanted to accomplish every game and every year. It was crazy.
Yeah, he would think about the game more than a lot. He had different ways of setting up to different bowlers, different grips, and he would work on the run out in the middle. Some days he'd say it's not on, then he'd change something with his grip and he'd work it out. But also he had a massive cattle farm. He used to buy big bulls, Wagyu bulls, and he used to sell them. And I remember he got his 2600s and he's like, righto, let's go out for a beer. Like, oh, are you celebrating 100? He goes, no, one of my prize bulls, he had a farm called 408, which is his test number, and he just wanted to celebrate because one of his bulls had won a blue ribbon. That was more exciting to him. He enjoyed that more than he did his run. So I think he had a good perspective too on the game. It wasn't everything for him, but it
was real easy for him to switch off.
Yeah, well, I think it's key for modern day players. And he showed it that if you had something outside of sport or outside of cricket, you're going to have a bit of success. So he was. I felt like his stocks were really rising.
Nice.
He slips in. He's the 6th with a question mark.
Cool. Who's next,
really
boys?
Good argument for him. Tell you right now. He probably doesn't get any talked about anywhere as much as he should.
No, well, you have those things. A lot of the players still wear the 408 on his on the bottom of the bats, and they have each day. I think they do a bit of remembrance, but I think it was a tough situation for everyone. It was happened on the field, and then there was the court case and the family. So it got really, it was sort of felt a bit unresolved the way that it happened, and a lot of people. There were a lot of people involved in the way that he passed away and the aftermath. So it was just it was just horrible. It's unforeseen in the modern day cricket that someone would get hit at his level.
You were playing that game, weren't you?
I did. I played that game. I bowled 1 over, none for 9, and all 9 runs. He went 4-4 single off my first 3 balls. I was like, oh, here we go. In for it again. I'm going to get spanked. He's.
Did you ever play any golf with him?
Never. No, I'm not much of a golfer. I used to play when I was 16, and then I started getting the yips and started hitting them off the toe and shanking them. I was like, stuff. Cricket's hard enough, let alone another wasted 6 hours of my life a day. So
I just love to see someone with his hands with the bat. What his hands would do with a golf club.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it'd be like Bubba Watson shit.
Yeah, that's right. It would
Running
be,
around trees.
yeah. I never saw it, but I think he'd be the sort of bloke you'd give him anything, a ball
Natural
or,
feel.
and he just had this way. It's like Steve Smith. They come to it the sort of the same age. You'd give them a ball in anything, or just give them a racket, and they just throw the textbook out and just let them figure it out for themselves. And they find this way to sort of just have success, which is pretty cool. You know, he was special. There's not too many players. Probably him, Smith, and Warner in my age group where I come through and went, shit, these guys are just like figured the game out at a different level to what anyone else has.
Nice.
So,
I'll throw mine in.
Yeah, have a crack.
I've got no benchy, but I've just gone for 5 big dick players.
Okay.
My number 5, I've gone Simons, Andrew Simons. He I grew up thinking he would be the best to have a beer with. He looks like he just was the best fun.
As well.
I had Lara at 4.
Oh, good. Right. We got one in common.
Steve Waugh at 3.
Oh.
He was tough. And I almost went border, but it was probably a bit too early. I didn't really see a lot. I only hear stories.
Yeah.
Steve Waugh, Shane Warne at 2. I mean, I seen a little montage of all of his fuck ups on Instagram the other day. Him with the Sheilas in the hotel room with his Morton out, and Siggy's on the Lord's balcony. Like, who does that? And
you
then
had
number
to win
1,
and lose.
didn't care. And then Jacques Callis. I just think he'd be like, I'd like to see the headlines in South Africa. I just feel like they would keep him out of the headlines, but he would still get up to so much shit. He would have been a bad unit.
Nice, mate.
Yeah.
The greatest cricketer of all time.
Yeah. Has to be. If he's the greatest cricketer of all time, he has to be a bad egg off the field.
Yeah.
It goes like that. Yeah. Same with Bradman. He must have got on to so much mischief travelling on those boats over to the England.
Imagine the amount of beers you could have on that trip.
Oh, yeah. I'd be off the boat. Someone would have thrown me off the boat. I reckon that's too late. Fishing me off the bottom of the Atlantic.
Long Fog boys, what do you got for us?
Okay. At number 5, I've got Alistair Cook.
Cookie.
Being left-hander, being one of the great English batsmen going around. So at number 4, I have Mike Hussey, another left-hander.
Mr. Cricket.
Like
yeah. His cover drive was impeccable.
Is your whole top 5 left-handers?
No, of course, my number 3 isn't. Number 3 is Jacques Callis.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, his next 2 better be good.
They're left-handers, so they're pretty good.
Look at his left-hand suck-off session.
What can I say? And then at number 2, I've got Kumar Sangakkara.
Oh, yeah. Good pick.
Yep. He scored bulk runs just when
he was good everywhere. Doesn't
average 59 in Test cricket over 160 tests. It's pretty good.
That's insane. And he was keeping as well. So batting 4. So
cooked legs, big time cooked legs.
Yeah. He would have done so many squats in the days. He would have been hitting the gym hard, I reckon.
Did not miss leg day, that's for certain.
No. And at 1, I've got Adam Gilchrist at 1.
Yeah, little idol for you, mate. So in case you don't know, Steve, which you probably don't, Long Fog used to play grade cricket and was a keeper, left-hand bat.
Keeper batter, there you go. Yeah, so 2 of your top 5 are keeper batters.
Yeah, I wasn't that good though.
That's irrelevant. No one is. I think the only blokes who can sit there and say they're good are the blokes that we're talking about. So there's a top 11 and then a top 5. So there's 20 blokes in the world.
Yeah.
If anyone tries to convince you they're in that top 20 or that they're any good at the game, that they are having a laugh.
They can grow up.
Suiting rare players.
But that's mainly Quincy every week during summer.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Roger.
When you play for Blacktown, you don't play for the game. You play for the venues after.
Yeah.
because you need to forget the game as quick as you can.
Mm.
And when you're playing East, you're playing in the Sheaf.
Yeah.
When you're playing Sutherland, you're playing Northies. You know the go.
Yeah, that's right. That makes perfect sense. I think your greatest memories are always off the field. I don't think I can ever sit there and say that your teammates are always in the stands after a game or.
I've got to.
After 8 hours with some of them, you just want to get rid of them. But as soon as you get a beer in the yard, they're different.
That's right. The world is good.
All right. Good top five. So I went sort of based on what I've seen and what I've seen and what I love. So number 5, I've gone Yassir Shah. He's a little prick on the field and I love it.
Yeah, he's a rare unit.
Yeah.
Number 4, Michael Hussey, Mr. Cricket. Can't go past him. Also got the opportunity to bowl to him in the nets, and he was just such a good guy. So, middle peg in my back pocket. Thanks, brother.
I was about to say, there's only is this your top 5 or the top 5 that you got to meet and knock over in the net? There's a big difference here.
I've got a few in the nets, thank you.
Yeah, number 3, Ricky Ponting, great fella, but just susceptible to my in-swinger. I did.
Number 3, I'm actually. Number 3 is one of your fellow teammates who I got the luxury of watching at Penrith one day face Josh Hazlewood, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, and Moses Henriques, all with a new ball, and that was Simon Kadich.
Yeah, good.
He was good.
Freak. I was watching him hit every one of those players just over the boundary for 4 or 6. It was unreal. Number 2, a little idol for me. I loved watching him growing up, Mitchell Johnson.
Mm.
And number 1 is my favourite player of all time and always will be, Kumar Sangakkara.
Good. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick. There's a lot of lefties. When I was going through
Yeah.
my 11, I went a lot of lefties as well.
Yeah, Quincy, you're saying
Oh,
I was
mate.
picking off all the lefties.
You should know.
Yeah, that's
He's not lefty to play for Australia. But so I've read a stat on Kumar Sangakkara. He I think he averaged over 40 at every away international home ground.
That's
So
sickening.
like if he played against England in England, he averaged over 40. Like it was crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
That is sickening, actually.
Well, his test average of 59. I mean, there's not in the modern day game. That's even batting on the roads that you might get it in Sri Lanka. That's still so impressive. To do it for as long as he did as a keeper batter. You find guys that play 160 tests. That's so rare. So that's what you blokes are, rare. So that's right up there.
I love it.
Yeah,
Moving on to our next subject, boys. What do we got? Would that be our 13, our 12 or 13, whatever you want to call it?
Our 11 coaching
staff.
staff.
I'll shoot. Are we going back to me again to start? I'll shoot through them a bit quicker this time. That way I won't give you the rundown and their ESPN Cricket Info rundown. So I've got number 1. I've Longfong. I'm tipping you here. I'm going with Alistair Cook. He's averaged 45, played 160 tests in England, which is tough work. Captains batted. I think you'd find that he was the English captain that beat England in India, which is so rare to do. Averaging 45 on those English wickets must be bloody hard. And then when he stepped away from the game, didn't make a big kerfuffle, just sort of, took it in his stride and still playing because he's a good team man. So it'd be a good, like a Simon Kadich. I think Simon Kadich, those two would just get along like 2 peas in a pod. Yep. Steve Smith opening the batting with him because this is a hard team to pick in. But Steve Smith averages 59 in the current game. I think if you look at his... Hey?
Opening.
Yeah. Well, you'd want it to be a bit rare. I'm like, I can't fit him in anywhere else. So I'm going to open the bat. You'd say like Haydos or something like that, or I don't know, think of another one, Justin, but I'm like, well, Steve Smith can bat anywhere. He bats at 3, he can open the batting.
He bats at 3. Sometimes you're facing people get first ballers. Sometimes you're facing the ball before number 2.
You'd give him that and say you're opening the batting and he'd go, yeah, no worries, that's fine. He'd go out and face a new ball and smack it. And his test record is unbelievable. Rare, also had 12 months off, come back and played club cricket. So that to me even gives him bigger ticks, makes him even more rarer. Ponting at 3, goes without saying, captain who turned the game at 3, come out when the pressure's all up against him and start pulling him off the front dog. Brian Charles Lara 4, Tendulkar 5 in the middle, just in case we're playing in the subcontinent, because he's going to start playing spin pretty well and 200 tests. So he's got the Ks in the legs. Carlos 6 is my all-rounder. 7 was a hard one. I wanted to go with Sangakkara, but I'm going to go with Gilchrist just because I felt like if Callis and Tendulkar don't get on with it, I've got a guy who can strike at about 80 in Test cricket, which is pretty good. All right, Imran Khan just sneaks into my age group because I'm older than you blokes. So Imran Khan is an all-rounder and a legend off the field. Bit of a ladies' man off the field when I heard he played a season with New South Wales and dominated on and off the field is what I'm hearing. So,
Prime Minister now?
Yeah, that's right. And runs the country. Yeah, runs the country.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that in there as well. Runs the country. How many cricketers do you know that have ever stepped off a cricket field and then gone and run a country? What are we doing with our lives, honestly? Jesus.
Runs the circuit, runs the country.
Oh, mate. Mate, I'm barely in charge of the remote at home, let alone running the country. So Imran Khan, Warney, because Imran's going to need a circuit buddy to go out with at 9.
Imagine Warney off the hip of Imran. Stay short, Warney.
Curtly Ambrose and McGrath to open the bowling. One with a bit of control, and Curtly just to scare the bejesus out of blokes at 140 clicks. It was hard to pick a 12th man because you could throw the mat over Stain, Sangakkara, blah, blah, blah. But my 12th man, as I said earlier, was Phil Hughes because he's got a big question mark on him at who he could have been. And I've run drinks with him a few times, and he's pretty simple sort of bloke, but offers a lot of good banter. So there's my 12.
Have you got a coach?
I don't actually. I'm watching. Are you watching the Duncan Fletcher files on after the Test match? You watch the India v England Test? Are you watching any of that?
Nah, mate.
Good. You're doing your homework. That's good. Yeah, following up on the crickets. It's cricket. That's good. India and England are playing, are they? That's interesting. I'd say that in between they've got the Duncan Fletcher file. So Duncan Fletcher obviously was the coach of England when they beat Australia in 2005, which was monumental because England were dog shit at the time, and they produced that amazing series which reinvigorated cricket. Yeah, he's not my coach, by the way. He's not my coach.
Talking about.
Greg Shippard, mate, most successful domestic coach in all of the state. Played with the greats, Rodney Marsh, Dennis Lilly over at WA. He's won 30 domestic titles. He's yet to coach an Australian team.
Wow.
And also loves the circuit and the beer with the boys. So on that fact alone, he gets the nod. Yeah. Anyway, that's my 12, 13 and a coach.
Nice.
Is he? Would you say he's like a knowledge and technique coach, or is he a man manager?
Well, that's a good question because I think he's got the combinations worked out. You could put him in a room of 15 blokes, and he would find a way to connect with all of them. So he's a great man manager on that level. But then if you wanted to talk to him about batting, which is his specialty, he will also delve into that. But he'll also know a way of talking to you on your level that will read and take in information. And he's got relationships that have dug deep. Ricky Ponting regards him as a great mentor when Greg Shippard was coach and Ricky Ponting came through. I messaged him the other day. He said he was out to dinner with Tim Payne and James Faulkner. So he's still got that Tasmanian hold. He's coached Victoria, which had a successful 10 years with Matthew Wade, Aaron Finch, the likes going through there. And then I've had him at the Sixers for the last 5 years, and I'd regard him as a good mate. I ring him up probably once a week and chat to him for an hour just about absolute dribble. And we love it. I love chatting to him. So I think he's great. They've got a great combination. Second, along the lines of Trevor Bayliss, I think that'd be they're your top two.
Okay, nice. Well, what we've done is we've actually put all three of ours together into
That would have been a goody conversation to have, wouldn't it? It was-
We were I was in the shower while we were FaceTiming.
You're not going to get it. Well,
That is no
I'll
doubt.
see how many we've got compared. That's the same, right?
There was
So
a
who's
few.
opening the batting?
There was a couple.
Long Fog has got the list. So
Okay.
Right, Longfog, come
Okay. So 2 left-handers to start off with.
on. Alistair Cook, surely.
No, unfortunately, we've gone two bigger rigs. Graham Smith.
Graham. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I got overridden on this.
Yeah.
average what over 45, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's hard to say not. And you know, they took a South African team and made them tough and all that. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. And Hayden has to be
Yeah.
next one, is it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're reading off my screen here.
Well, I was looking at Hayden and Cook's record, and I'm like, Hayden, 103 tests at 50, which is bloody good. But Alistair Cook, 160 tests at 45. I'm like, geez, he's played another 60 tests, and Cookie captained, you know, and had to go out in Thingo, you know. Anyway, it was close.
Don't like him.
I'm just going to put a note down on my notes. Do what Stephen O'Keefe does and do research.
Do research.
Do research.
Shout out Daniel O'Brien. It's starting to rub in.
Yeah. So whatever he does, I'm doing now. So,
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, well, I hope you've got a bit of money in the bank, because generally if you follow me around, you're going to get fined at some stage. So just be careful there, Foggy.
Fine. That's fine. Okay. At 3, we have another left-hander, Kumar Sangakkara.
Yeah, nice.
3. At 4, we have Stephen Smith.
Good.
Yeah. At 5, we've got another left-hander, Brian Lara. At 6, Michael Hussey.
Jesus, this is a left-hander-a-thon. This is.
Yeah.
So how many right-handers have we got in there so far? None.
One.
Smith. Who?
Yeah.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith.
Yeah, Steve Smith.
He could probably average 50 left-handed anyway.
Jeez,
Yeah.
well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, 5 lefties. I changed my order up because I had too many lefties in my team. I was like, they're just going to bowl Ashwin into the rough.
They are good to watch.
No, we don't want to waste time, boys. Don't want to waste time.
So hang on. So his Kumar's not keeping, obviously. So you're going to go Gilchrist at 7.
No,
we've got Kumar keeping. He's got
Kumar
a big job.
keeping.
He's a big job. We're gonna
because you got the big unit coming in at 7.
We've got Jacques Callis at 7.
Right-hander. Finally.
Another right-hander in 8. We have Andrew Flintoff in at 8.
See, I like that, but if you go back and look at his test numbers, they are pretty shit house. Like, he's known for like bowling fast spells and donging them. But I would have Andrew Simons over Freddie.
Yeah, but you need someone with bipolar in your team.
I like that.
He is, but go and have a look at his record. He averages 30 with the ball and about 30, like just under 30 with the bat. I'm like this. I don't know. If you want all rounders out there, I reckon. Yeah, I mean,
you want aggression? Simon's tackled a naked bloke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 shoulder shard. That's right.
Yeah, I agree. Flintoff didn't make my list. I was outruled majority.
Yeah, and he's like he did. I don't think he played. He didn't even get up anywhere near 100 tests. But hey, reverse swinging ball in England, pretty good. But he also came out to Australia and lost 5-0 and got absolutely pants the next series and was nowhere. Like
sculled a beer with his feet up on the Prime Minister's desk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Take that.
He's an alcoholic, reformed alcoholic. I don't think he drinks anymore.
No, it doesn't.
It's awesome. You want that in your team.
Yeah, that's good.
That
That picture.
now. You wouldn't want him now. He doesn't drink. So he's
Yeah.
making the team.
I didn't know that. What a coward. Fucking move
Yeah, he's that healthy lifestyle now.
Yeah. Don't mind
Mitchell Johnson in.
that.
Mitchell Johnson. Yeah, there you go. Left half bar.
Another left, yeah,
They're lefty.
as well.
In at 9, we have Patrick Cummins.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You reckon he gets there now with his record of out of all the blokes in modern day cricket, you reckon he's your 9 out of the guys that played in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
I reckon regardless of his record, he's always able to get a wicket. Always able to get a wicket, no matter what.
I'm not disputing his talent.
I watched Cricket Australia, a cricket.com video came up this morning on my feed. And there's like 6 balls of the summer. And all other 5 bowlers all had a new pill. And Cummins done it with, I think it was about 60 overs old.
Yeah.
The ball of the summer with the ball at 60 overs old.
60 overs old, yeah. You could give him something the dogs chew.
Yeah.
Find a way.
You get 45 degrees, don't care. I'm just going to charge in.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think if he goes like this for the next 5 years and continues on and gets up to the sort of the 80 to 100 test mark, I think his numbers will be better than, won't be McGrath-like.
But they'll be better than most.
It'll be better than DK Lilly, you know, a guy like Mitchell Stark, who gets overlooked a bit, he's got the best strike rate of any bowler who's taken over 200 test wickets. And you don't ever think of him, but if you've got a guy who can get a wicket every sort of 40 odd balls, you know, even if he's going at 4 or 5, so, you know, he's consistently finding a way to get blokes out. That helps out everyone in the whole team. So, you know, I think someone like him working with Pat Cummins has helped Cummo as well. What pisses me off, though, is that we've had Australian series of late against India and we've been beaten at home, and that is why I can't cop it. Like, I'm like, I want to pick these guys, but I'm like, we lost to India at home. That should never happen.
That's
twice in a row. I'm like, well, Smudger was lucky to get into my team with that, but I'm like, wasn't his fault for the first one because he was having a bit of a holiday.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Cummo's in there.
That's
fair. Dale Steyn over Morne Morkel.
Yeah, we do. Dale Steyn, but he's at 11. He's at 11.
Okay.
And then we got Shane Warne at 10.
Okay, yeah, all right, that's good. So who's taking the new ball?
You've got Staines and...
We'll go just Cummins. Unless Flintoff wants to open the bowling.
Yeah.
If he feels like it.
Steyn and Cummins to bowl the new ball. You got Warney bowl and spin. Who's punching out? And that's the other thing I didn't think about my team. There's no extra second spinner. Like, you know, you're picking these test teams, and I went, I've only picked one out and out spinner here. There's no one in my team that can even bowl off spin. Tendulkar, I guess, can bowl a little bit.
Oh,
Steve Smith can bowl some leggies.
Tendulkar.
Yeah, they were the worst. Oh yeah, he could bat, but his leg spin, it was past that.
Well, have you
we do have 5. We've got 5 bowlers though, so there's plenty of overs.
You're going to get them, but sometimes you feel like if your third best quick isn't going to get a wicket, what makes you think your fourth best quick is going to? You know what I mean? Like you need that variety in a team.
And we do have Mr. Cricket at 6, bowling 1 over maybe.
At 134 clicks.
Yeah,
I think if you ever get it, if you get some more cricketers on, I think you might be better off just going your best lefties of all time and think, you'd be a really night throwing it, or your best redhead team, or your best blokes that have missed a match due to suspension or fine team, your best circuiting 11.
We should have saved that one for you.
Captain and coach.
Do we need to go
off the mark there?
But we've also got our coach being Trevor Bayliss.
Yep, good. That's a tick. Big tick, that one.
We had did we have Ponting as 12th man?
Yeah, we had Ponting. 12th man.
Also a good circuit when he's 18 or 19, the beefsteak and bourbon. He got into a fight and got a black eye. Do you remember that at all? No?
No.
Yeah, he's 18 or 19, he got into a fight, and I think he turned up to a test or something. He had a black eye. Yeah,
we love that.
Is that Goaty days?
He debuted for, I think, Tassie at 16. He either made 100 in his first or second game, and then at 18 or 19, I think he got called up into the Aussie team, and I think
that's
beefsteak and bourbon in Brisbane. He got into a fight.
Love it.
Right.
Yeah, so everyone's got a little bit of dirt under their nails somewhere, mate.
Do you remember Jeremy Snape?
I do, yes. Yeah. I haven't played a lot of cricket against Jeremy Snape, but I do know Jeremy.
He's
Snape.
our sports psychologist.
Is he?
Yeah.
What are you inferring there, mate? There's like something being said without being said there.
I mean, you got Warney, you got Flintoff, you got a few other blokes there that.
Now Jeremy Snape. So you're saying that he's got, mate. Well, those people maybe who have experienced a bit more in life are the guys that maybe can offload a bit of advice or experience.
Who knows with that team?
Yeah.
Surely you would have booked you'd book him in for a while, wouldn't you, mate?
Yeah, just to talk about you,
Family abandonment.
So look, I played him for the first time this year, and I didn't even get to fucking bowl to him. Didn't even get to yell at him once.
You're in your prime, mate. Don't worry. You'll get your chairs to yell at most first graders across the season.
As you know, I yell at a few.
yeah, you do it off the field.
One being Bryant. He loves me.
We all love you, mate.
Anyway,
next question.
All right, so we've got a few rare questions for you, mate, and I hope you prepared yourself for these. So our first one will be,
yourself, but I'm prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you do your research.
That's true. That's fair.
So the first one will be rarest thing you've done.
Look, I mean, there's a lot that I've done that's rare. So to be honest, I'll keep it all above board. I think the only thing that I can ever think back to was the rarest. So I'm going to use rare as a positive connotation in some senses and literally in a literal term.
Yep.
The rarest thing I've ever done is field. We played in WA. We fielded for 3.5 days straight out of a 4-day game.
Oh,
so
what a shock.
we fielded out of nearly, we had our spikes on fielding for 4 days out of 4 days, which I've never done in a game. That was the rarest thing outside of all the things that I've ever done. So turning up, some days when you bat at 9 like I do, you've got a day off of the field, so you can just sort of muck about, do a crossword, have a thing. Each day I knew I was fielding, and that just sucked.
Mentally.
Oh, I was just like, and it was the worst loss we'd ever had.
What were the numbers like?
We played WA. I was captain as well, which sucked even worse. I won the toss on a green wicket, and I was at the whacker, and I'm 26. I don't know. I couldn't, as I said, you wouldn't leave me in charge of a remote, like I said earlier, let alone a cricket team. And I've got the Marcus North is the other captain. The coin's gone down. I'm like, I'm hoping, please lose the toss. I won the toss, chose to bat. Had a team with Haddon, Watson, Hughes, Quaja, myself, Steve Smith. I won the toss and batted. And I was like, look, we've got the best batting lineup in the world.
Put your feet up.
Yeah, well, I was like, we'll be fine here. We were 1 for 60 at lunch, all out for 90 at the next hour. We lost 9 for 30. Guy called, what's his name? Liam. He was one of my mates in the academy. Liam Davis made 300. The bowling attack was Josh Layla, Tim Vandergoot, and myself. Shane Watson was allowed to bowl 8 overs because he was injured. So we did not have a bowler. And Bo just put on a double 100, and a guy called Liam Davis made 300. So they batted all the way into game 4 and bowled us out in 2 sessions. Out for 60 or 70. It's the worst ever loss of a New South Wales cricket team. And no one follows New South Wales cricket. We came home that week with hate mail from people who would said, usually you blokes put up a fight. This is the worst performance I've ever seen of a New South. This was the letters, because the CEO at the time thought it'd be great encouragement to send it down to me, and he said, read some of these. And I'm like, mate, I'm like talk about kicking a bloke when he's already down. So we got pumped with that team. And it was the worst. It goes down as the worst loss ever of the New South Wales cricket team by runs, or we lost by an innings and 374 runs. Michael Beard, this is how bad the wicket was. Michael Beard took 7 wickets in the second innings. That's how bad the wicket turned into a shit tip. Anyway, that's the rarest thing I've done on a cricket field is field for that long.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Nope.
Rarest thing you've seen?
There's a few things I've seen. There's Nick Maddinson eating a toastie was quite funny in a one-day game. He ran out late onto the field and had a full toasted sandwich in his pocket. It was pretty right up there. But the rarest thing, Fawad Ahmed walked out to bat at 11 for Victoria and forgot his bat. He got halfway out to the field and forgot he had his bat.
I've seen that.
Yes. That's the rarest thing I've seen. Usually you're like, oh, got the wrong glove. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, thigh guard. Bloke forgot his bat. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the rarest thing.
Well, I'm assuming that would answer your next question of rarest thing on the field.
Oh, rare. Yeah. Well, I think, the thing that's, no, hang on. Oh, no. Well, look, yeah, let me flip this around for you. The rarest thing I've seen on the field is a guy walking out with a bat. The rarest thing I've seen, hang on, because there's in the sheds as well. So, yeah, let's use those two. They're the two things that are the rarest things that I've seen.
Yep. So rarest thing in the sheds. Is that what you want to go to next?
Yes, let's go there.
Yep.
So, player who will remain unnamed. In the SCG change rooms, you've got a spa, or you used to have a spa. And I could only imagine what used to go on there back in the 70s and 80s. But for some reason, there's a spa in the SCG change rooms. It's gone, only just recently gone. Recovery, you know.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, Greg Matthews would tell you might have other purposes, but
I would have been black as mud in there. All the ash.
He's probably bought it.
All that sticky ash.
you wouldn't want it. Yeah, well, ash. Yeah, the things that used to go on, but will go unsaid. But one of the batters I was playing with, a young bloke went in and he got dismissed. Thought it was a bit of a stinker opening the batting. He walked in, took off his pads and his cricket bat, turned the spa on, waited for it to bubble and fuel. So this is we're talking about 2 minutes after he's gotten out yet. So this is turning into a bit of psychopathic behaviour. Put his bat in, just gently slid his bat into the spa. So, you know, beautiful bat. Slipped his pads in, grabbed a chair from the change room, put it under the shower in his whites, still fully in his whites, and just turned the shower on cold and just sat in the shower under a cold shower. And just sat in a cold shower. You don't get too many bats when you're batting at night. I thought I'll just go and steal the bat out. I thought maybe the bat could be saved out of the spa. I thought, well, if he doesn't want it, I'll have it. You don't get many.
The hairdryer.
That's the rarest thing I've seen in the sheds.
That's
one of the rarest I've heard.
Yeah. So,
what's your train of thought there? What are you thinking you're going to get out of a cold shower and you're fully clothed with?
I think you've just had a stinker and you just, I don't know. I think it's some sort of punishment. I never asked. You know, when blokes get out, it's usually the bat toss, it's the helmet toss, it's the look out of the window, it's the abuse. That's why I said this was really subtle, but you could see there was some deep-seated anger going on in there. This is the angriest I've seen someone without being volatile.
That's so good.
Yeah. So that's
rarest person you know.
Well, the rarest person I know, I mentioned him earlier, was Maddo eating a toastie, but he would have to be the rarest. He went from playing to being, so he's a vegan now, which you would say that's pretty rare in cricket. Being a vegan and being able to play. He's got tattoos from top to toe and he's a bit left of centre. And I say it in the nicest possible way because he's one of the, out of guys we have to play or I grew up with, he's one of the nicest blokes I've ever met. But in terms of rare, as in things that you don't normally see in players, he would be the rarest on so many levels. So, yeah, he's the rarest, but most loveliest as well. I love Maddo for what he brings to a team because he's not just the same. Bit like if you see Adam Zampa, he's
not a robotic little.
No, he's not all these guys that I got to do my homework and suck the coach off and do all this or do all that. He's just like he's a cowboy. He'd also go out and you'd be day one on a Shield match on a green seamer and he'd come out and just slog like he'd be 40 off 22 balls and there'd be 4 sixes and 3 nicks through a vacant 3 and a third and a half sleep and you'd be like, what the fuck?
I like that.
And they flicked him from New South Wales, and then he went to Victoria and he made 900 runs in 7 games and averaged 80. I'm like, he's a gun. He's a superstar. I think that Big Bash season he averaged about 8 with a strike rate of 73. Then we played him in a Shield game 2 seasons ago, and he made 100 off like 53 balls with, like 10 sixes, and it's like, when they're trying to chase down a score and the game's on the line and bigger boundaries and no one there, he was just like slogging. He's just so rare. Like,
and he's left-handed as well.
And he's left.
Get him in.
Pongy, you've been the best value up there with it. We can cut everything out and put the
lefty.
Pongy comments in.
Do you like his haircut?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to show him my.
Take it off.
He did it himself.
Mate,
really
look at
bad.
this. This is
It's really bad. Look at that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
See, he likes the mullet.
Yeah, he got the speech stripes. There we go. That's good as well.
Yeah.
He looks like he's about to molest someone's 13-year-old daughter.
Thanks.
Hey.
Hang on. Have you got a database of what those blokes look like? Do you?
I just watch plenty of movies, mate. Watch plenty of movies.
It's a mirror.
Just have to go through your contact list, do we? Jeez, mate.
Jacinta's got a hold of that.
Yeah. You're in stripes now, mate.
That all finished a couple of years ago when I met her.
Bad man, mate. No, the hairdo's good, mate. Yours has stayed the same. I mean, yours is similar, but I think you're fighting a lost battle there, mate. I reckon that forehead there is. You're gonna have to start combing your eyebrows back, mate, to start reducing that cat.
It's in to cut it, mate.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the cut bits. I'm worried about the bits that are already missing. The old cul-de-sacs on the corner.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Are you looking at your mirror there or what?
Yeah,
I'm family, brother.
I'm 37, mate. How old are you again?
I'm 29.
Yeah, 29 going on 12. You are.
That's all right. We all love to live young, mate. We all love to live young.
I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Now, the boys have got a few questions for you, mate.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Fire away.
What do you got? Short missed.
Oh, what do I got? Okay. Out of every international player you've played with, which one did you want to punch in the face most? This might be a bit lighthearted. This might be
played with or against.
That day stock that you went out and you batted for 174 balls. Guy that fired me up the most ever. Geez, punch in the face. International cricketer that I've played against that had fired me up the most. Cheteshwar Pujara.
I'd fucking throw a whole kid at him.
Well, he was like, I used to try and the only games I get to play against him, I played against him in an Australia A game and 4 tests, and I would be very vocal and get stuck into blokes, and he's the only bloke who would just sort of stare at you and just nonchalant give you that look. And
boring.
Boring is batshit, and he looks like Alf off a cartoon that I used to grow up with. So I used to have that figure in my head, and I was like, he used to look at him as a teddy, and I'd be like, geez, he was the bloke. I would never want to punch him in the face, but he was the bloke that got under my skin the most. And he wouldn't even say anything. He was so slow fielding after a ball as well. And he was slow between wickets. And then he'd just come out and dominate. He was a bloke that you just couldn't get out. I could not find a way to get him out. So he was a bloke I just would have loved to have run and tackled, because I felt like maybe physically I had it over him, but cricket-wise, he was 12 times better than what I was.
He's more like your old school cricketer that was just good at the one thing.
Well, just the mental application that he could apply to batting was like, I'd never seen anything quite like it. Like, you see Steve Smith and his ability to bat long periods. He just had took the scoreboard out of it and just was able to soak up pressure and then just milk you, and sort of, it was like a death by 1,000 cuts. He'd hit you for singles, get off strike. He was the guy that infuriated me, and you just couldn't get to him. I couldn't speak to him, couldn't have a chat, and then always had the wood over me. I just had no way of answering how good he was. So didn't want to punch him in the face, Foggy. I don't think there's not one player that I've wanted to ever punch in the face, but the one that I maybe would have liked a shoulder charge, maybe running between wickets.
Actually, I played a game with my first grade coach captain Ben Sawyer. You know Ben Sawyer?
Yeah.
He wasn't your fastest bowler,
No.
but I remember him getting that heated one day. We were playing. Who was batting? Ed Cowan.
Mm.
He goes, if God gave me one ball to bowl at 160 clicks, it would be at you. You fucking punish.
Yeah, I'm with him. I had one ball as well. It's going that way.
He must be punished.
I think some, like, it's a skill for some players like Ed who are talented to get under other players' skins, and they have a way of doing it, whether it's the way they leave the ball, the way that they carry on, the way that they sort of strut, as you know, when you see them around. Some blokes you just like, well, I just want to,
Yeah.
And for everyone, it's a bit different. But to get under Benny Sawyer's skins, that's a good effort, because he's a pretty mild bloke.
100%.
So well done.
It caught me off guard.
I've got a question from a listener, and it's quite a rare one.
What does your dad want?
Like, funny you say that. He has been pestering me to get on this podcast. He's like, "Oh, socks on, get me on." So, were there many sports throughout your career or growing up that helped lift your ability towards cricket?
Was I good at any other sports? The short answer is no, I was useless. Did that help me lift up cricket? Yes, because I just diverted my attention towards playing cricket. I realised I was useless at everything else.
It was by default, not by talent.
But yeah, I played a season. I played a couple of seasons of rugby union and a season of rugby league, and loved it. Like I was a sort of kid that'd go down to the park. This is before iPads and iPhones. I'd go down and kick the ball over the goal, over the swings, and catch your own bombs and then chip golf balls but I was pretty useless at all of it, but I just loved it. But footy, I was the same height, 170 centimetres in year 10, and you play Blacktown City playing for the Windsor Wolves, and the blokes would be rolling out and they'd be 120 kilos, and I was 55 kilos.
Yeah,
and I was playing second row because I couldn't read defence out in the centres. Started in the centres, I was a turnstile. I'd turn up, I was running past my left shoulder, my right shoulder. I was like, no idea. So they moved me into the forwards, and now I'm trying to tackle, these big boppers out at bloody Blacktown City. And so footy was done. Footy was done at 16. Played a bit of union. That was a bit easier. I like that. Played with Dave Dennis, who captained the Waratahs, played in England and whatnot. Played school rugby with him. We had a lot of fun, but I was shithouse at that. And then that was it. Played a season of soccer. Played left back. Could you think of a more redundant position in soccer than left back in junior soccer? So I was shit at most things. And people that argue as well, up until the age of 18, I was pretty shit at cricket as well. I just stuck at it. You're out at Richmond. I'm like, what else have I got going for me? It's not like I'm going to get my e-commerce job off my dad or my mum and fall into some sort of investment bank job earning 100 grand a year. It was like, this is it, mate. So my first contract with the Blues was 12 grand, which was a rookie contract, which I had for 3 years. And I thought I was an absolute millionaire. So I was shouting everyone down at the RG McGee's in Richmond.
Oh, yeah, good joint.
For my 12 grand a year, buying everyone beers over the bar because I was getting paid to be a cricketer. So that was like monopoly money. And then it took me until I was 25, 26 before I cracked into playing actual decent cricket. So it took me a while before I realised I wasn't that shit at cricket. But up until 25, I was pretty shit.
I've got one, just randomly. If you were to pick 3 blokes that were under the radar menaces on the piss.
Under the radar menaces on the piss. So who could drink a lot? All right, so I'd say...
Well, you just like someone you're like, oh, yeah, but... someone you just wouldn't think about, and yeah, fuck, but he can drink and
he can drink. Yeah. No, Josh Hazelwood, number 1.
Bullshit. There we go.
In the big half, if you want to sit down with a bloke, he's the sort of bloke who could drink you under the table, I would stand under the table because I'm 4'2", so I'd look like I'm under the table anyway. He's the sort of bloke who could drink till the cows come home. The Bendemeer Express, not like he'd have his first beer, his 100th beer, you wouldn't know the difference, and then he'd turn up to training the next day, bowl 140 k's, you wouldn't know he'd even had one beer.
Oh, that shits me.
That's a east, and yeah, it shits me as well. Like if I have 3 beers, you can smell it from about 4 k's away. Can't hear it steaming out my eyes.
I look like I've had 40 Hong Kongs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and if it's for me, a good day was waking up and making sure that I wasn't on day 4 of the Daily Mail in there. I'd done something on used a bouncer or something like that on Manly. So generally, I knew that was a good night out if I got home, and that was the case. So Josh Hazelwood. Who else is a good? Another guy I love drinking with was Nathan Lyon. No, I'm just name dropping now all the Aussie guys.
Mate, play on.
That's
all they want to hear.
He's one of my. He was one of my bad boys. We'd always enjoy a beer, but he's a guy who could drink a lot and stay pretty quiet. He always had this weird thing. You'd have a beer and he'd be across the room, and it wasn't just me; it'd be everyone. You'd sort of like be having a conversation with someone. You'd look up to your left, and Gaz would be looking at you. It wasn't just you. You'd do this to everyone. It's almost like, and he wouldn't be staring next to anyone. He'd just be staring at you, and you'd be like, "What? This is." But then it's a common theme. People would say that he'd just be standing there, and he'd be sitting across the room, and he'd sort of just be like, and you're like, "What is wrong with you, Gaz?" So he's good. Third guy that you'd like to have a beer with. When we played in the 2012, when the first season of the Big Bash came out, I lived with Steve Smith in Coogee, and you had a month in between games. It wasn't a month. You had to play 8 games in 2 months. You had a game every sort of 2 weeks, like the Big Bash, which is ridiculous. So you had played every team once, and you did it over a 2-month period. So there was just mountains and mountains of alcohol being drunk, and we used to go back and drink it, Steve. So you play one game and you'd have 2 days in between training. So we would drink up there. You'd smudge us. So I'd say that he was probably another guy that I used to love having a beer with, because you'd always put it on. He was playing for Australia, had a bit more money than everyone else. So instead of having your cheap Great Northerns, you had a few rum and cokes in there as well. So it was always, you knew you were getting well catered for at that stage. So I'd say that Steve's a quiet man in real life and drinking, but would also be very generous with buying you a beer. So he's not a menace, but if you want to go out with rich guys who've got a lot of money who are going to buy you beers, we won't say no to that.
Let me just jump on the coattails there. Take me to the bar.
Best beers are the free ones, I can tell you that.
Yeah, they taste a little bit better.
Have you got any superstitions?
There's only one. I'd wear the same socks. If I'd had a good day, I'd wear the same black socks. I wear black socks all the time when I play. If I had a good day, I wouldn't wash the same socks. I'd wear them day in. So the beauty was my socks got washed most of the time because I wouldn't have too many back-to-back good days. But if I ever did have a good day into the next, I'd have to keep the same socks, and then it'd go the same for like most of my playing gear and shirts. I'd have a finicky thing about, I got runs in these pants and socks and shirts. So that would have to be just so I knew I was running out there comfortable in it. But yeah, that'd be the only one.
Who's a bloke that has plenty or is quite rare in that situation?
With superstitions,
yeah.
I'd be hands down would be Steve Smith as well. He's got tape his wrist once, and if that had worked, because he'd had a bit of a wrist injury, he would keep his wrist taped for the next 10 games, because there's nothing wrong with his wrist, but that worked for him at that stage.
Until he fails.
Yeah, and he'd stay up at night dreaming about or having these really good positive feelings about hitting runs and smacking runs, and he wouldn't go to. I wouldn't go to sleep because I'd be that nervous that I'd get smacked for 6, get hit for 6 sixes or something like that. He would not go to sleep because he'd be like, there's no way this opposition can get me out. He's done all the maths in his head. He'd be like, there's no way they can get me out tomorrow. So he would not sleep knowing that. So he would have his pad set up the right way, the bat handle and the weight would all have to be the same. You know, you watch him when he taps his bat and hits his thigh guard and does all that. That's like you watch, it's all the same every time. You know, I don't know whether that's superstition or routine. I think they can get sort of crossed, but you know,
massively crossed, 100%.
Yeah, that's right. Because people like superstitious, but I'm like, if you just do it all the time, it's a routine. And if it's a routine that gets you in the right headspace, who cares?
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless it's going out and smoking.
Maybe time for one more if anyone's got one.
Okay, I got one.
Foggy.
I've been brewing this one.
That's Foggy. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, but when I do, it's apparently good.
Right.
What's it like playing in India?
What's it like? Geez, that's an open. That is an open.
And I've got another question after that as well. Unfortunately.
I've had some great. I travelled there with a. I've been there for the last 20 years. I travelled there with a development team for New South Wales under Sean Bradstreet, and we played there when I was 17. So I went there at that age, and then my last time I was there would have been when I was 34. So I guess and in between then I'd been travelling there with the Champions League team. We played in India, went there in the IPL, played with Kochi. So I went there a lot of times, and I loved it for about a month, and then after that it's just hard work. I couldn't. I just like, get me out of here. I just needed to get out of there. It was just you got this so much extremes of poverty and wealth, and you know, just the sounds and just the intensity that it all brings. Like, there's some really beautiful parts of India. The food's amazing, the people are really nice, but after a month I'm like, I just got to get back to, you know, at that stage, if I'm living at home at Richmond, I was like, just get me back to mum's and get me to RG McGee so I can sit down and have a beer in a pub. Some space, and then, you know, but going over there, like, it's like, I remember going over in the IPL in 2012 with Brendan McCullum. He goes, mate, you just got to realise this is not the real world. This is completely, this is just not, this is surreal. You just got to take this for what it is, but it's not real. And you'd get onto your bus for an IPL team, and there'd be thousands of people queuing to try and get a photo of, you know, us playing with, we had Jay Wardner, we had Brendan McCullum, we had Maura Lithurin in our team, we had BVS Luxman, we had Jadeja, and they would just be screaming of you getting on us. And I'm a no-namer, you know, getting onto this thing, just sort of riding the curtails of these guys on the bus. And I'm playing it up to the crowd and dancing and running out, giving it these ones all the time. And they're like, who are you? And they'd go crazy for it. They loved it. But then after 6 weeks of not playing a game, and I was on 20 grand for 8 weeks, the team folded, so I only got paid 8 grand. And then my room bill was 10,000 US. So I was only bloke to go to the IPL and lose money. So I came home broke, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, wow.
What's that sound like? Like, how's it concentrating it just in the eruptions that they have?
What's that say that again, in the auctions?
The eruptions of the.
Oh yeah, the crowd. Yeah, I think when you first go, you are just like, it's like a, I don't know. You go in and you're like, holy shit, this takes you back, because it's like there's so much going on, and they're hanging off the fences, and they're just yelling and playing their drums and dancing, and then after a while it becomes white noise, because you're like, you've got 45-degree heat, humidity's 100%, and Chiteswar Pujara is 60 off 378 balls. So you're like, you start going into survival mode. The third test we played over there, I remember I bowled 78 overs in an innings. Three for 200, 78 overs. I nearly got my own new ball at the end of 80. I'm just going to give me a second new ball. I think they declared we couldn't even bowl them out. That's how good we were going. And I remember it was just like, this is one of the worst days / best days of my life. So India can bring out the best and worst in everything. Overall, love it. I do miss the place. Foggy.
Yeah. Okay, and my follow-up question: what's it like having Virat Kohli in your pocket?
I've knocked him over. I've knocked him over 3 times. He went to the academy when I was there as a 23-year-old. I knocked him over in the nets, so I'm counting that as a bowl.
I always do.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, you fucking get up me for counting. Yeah, come on, who else can you get in the nets?
Yeah, you count it, yeah. So that's why Virat Kohli's in my top 12 guys, because I knocked him over. When he was at the academy, and I love. He was a relative no one at that stage. And he was 19, I was 23, and I used to drive him up from the airport and pick him up. I could see how good this guy was, and I actually really loved him. He was like an Aussie, but in Indian colours. He used to give it to blokes like Warner, who he travelled with, who was amazing, and I loved him. And then I didn't get to see him until we went to that test. I played an Aussie A game against him 12 months before the test series, knocked him over there in the first innings as well, like a genuine half tracker, which rolled and he missed it. So I counted that. And then when I was in the academy, I used to drive him to the ASICS shoe store to pick up half price ASICS shoes, because back then he would take $100 off a pair of ASICS shoes if you could get it. So I'd take him and all the Indian players that would come over. 3 or 4 of them have played Test cricket. Dawal Kulkarni, Tanmay Shrivastay. Anyway, all these guys, Abhinav Mukund, would take them out. They'd get their $100 off their shoes, 50% off, because they were academy players. And then when I went over to India the second time in 2017, he'd signed a $60 million deal with Puma, the shoe brand. So $20 million a year for 3 years. And I'd said to him, I said, V-Rat, any chance of, I used to drive you around for some shoes. Any chance of some free shoes now, mate, since returning the favour? And he goes, didn't even say yes. He goes, oh, SOK, I'll see what I can do, mate. And I didn't get any shoes. So,
Gronk.
So, yeah, comparatively, his career sort of went like that, and then mine sort of went like, I'm still paying off the debts of my my career and he's making money. Yeah.
All right, boys. I've the breadwinner's got some auctions finishing, so she needs to start wheeling and dealing.
Good. All right. Cut that up into something, mate. Take out probably half a Quincy, keep a bit of Foggy, and we'll be right.
Oh, well, then I won't ask you who you're tipping for the footy then this week. You can get fucked.
The Bunnies, mate. Bunnies all the way. My missus' brother, Jetty Cartwright, named as 18th. He'll come on as in the 17th man and get him in there paying $4 for a first try scorer.
Who was that, sorry?
My missus is Lexi Cartwright and her brother is Jed Cartwright.
I think I know them.
Jed played the last game for the Bunnies, and then Johnny coached the Titans years ago. And
it was
my dad played footy and cricket with Johnny, and I played with.
There you go.
I played footy with Sam Jones. Who's the cousin Sam and Dean. Jimmy, Mary, her auntie.
All right, I'll put that down, and I'll ask.
Yeah, I'm sure I fucking met her.
Yeah, there you go. Small world.
Before we go, keep going again.
They lived out at Wallachia and Penrith for many years. So
Sam, I think they've only just left Wallachia.
Yeah, there you go.
You going again this year before we go?
Yeah, I'll be there. Be there with the Sixers, play for Manly. Try and avoid the games that we play against you, mate, so you can't say that you've got me.
I can't wait to tub at Manly.
Yeah, I can't wait to tub at Manly. Is that all you worry about? You tub in your own sheds. What are you worried about tubbing in mine?
You didn't even tub in our sheds, mate. I was very disappointed.
Come on, mate. We're all going to get off, mate.
All right, boys.
Good on you,
boys. Thanks for joining.
Good on you.
Thank you.
See you later, boys.
Chat again soon. Catch up.
Good,
Thank you.